Hey there, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to the Bogey Ball Society Golf Podcast. This is episode 1 where you're going to get to know myself, Hayes, Matt, Jason, and Bryan and figure out if this is a podcast worth adding to your rotation. I'll break the secret for you right now. It is. You're going to dig it. Hope you enjoy it.
To me after walking 18 because it's just a camel like like I can't find the I want to show it now, but it's not. I don't know how to edit in a reel, but it would be worth it.
All right, everyone. Welcome to episode 1 of the Bogey Ball Society. My name's Hayes. I'm one of your hosts, and I'll do introductions of myself and everyone else on this screen in a moment. But first, there's a question we have to answer right away, right? Why would you listen to one more golf podcast, right? There's not many golf podcasts out there, fellas. So, we're really filling a void here, right?
It's really true. There's only
right
7,700 at the last count, I believe.
Right. And we're 7,701. So, but the case is for why folks should listen to us is because we're you. We're dads, we're husbands, and we're full-time professionals. And we're golfaholics, golf nerds, pick whatever expression you want to use. But we are obsessed, maybe, with getting better at golf and all things golf. But we're trying to balance that with being parents and full-time professionals and husbands and being present and energetic and all those adult things as well. So it's a challenge, but we've maybe figured a few things out along the way and how to do that. And we're hoping to share some of those nuggets with you. The other nuance of the 4 of us is we are 4 of 9 moderators that help run the My Golf Spy forum. We're the folks running the virtual tournament. We're running community calls, doing social media posts. And yeah, we're part of the team that picks who does member testing. So we've got some unique insights into the golf equipment space, maybe a little bit of early insight. And we're going to be bringing some of that knowledge and insight and advice to you here. But enough from me. Let's go kind of around the horn here. Fellas, real quick. We don't need to know the weather conditions on the day you were born, but quickly tell us about yourself. Matt, go ahead.
Hey, I'm Matt. I'm also one of the moderators, as Hayes said. Currently a 7.1 handicap, which is the lowest it's ever been, which is exciting. I'm a dad to 2 ridiculously funny kids who...
You notice I didn't even ask him the handicap, and he threw that out there right away.
Oh, 100%. Are you kidding? I've never been more proud of anything other than the 2 kids. And even then, they fight with each other. My handicap, it just keeps going down. So it's as it goes down, it goes up in my estimation. It's fantastic. I'm out
Daddy,
in
Daddy,
Southern
I got an
California.
A in my test today. I shot an 82. Get out of here.
Hey, Daddy's practicing his putting. Yeah, exactly. But I'm out in SoCal, so just north of LA, and I like to still call myself a Los Angeles native, but I'm not a native, and I'm not even in Los Angeles. So as you can tell, you should take my stories with a grain of salt. And yeah, really psyched to be here. Very excited to get into the nitty gritty of why bourbon needs ice. No, not really. Okay. I'm going to pass it on to Bryan. You go.
All right. So as Matt said, my name is Bryan. I'm my father of 3 wonderful children. And I think I have the lowest handicap in the group here at 6.3. Not positive, but it's also a fake vanity cap. I don't have enough rounds this year to qualify for a real handicap is what it should really come down to.
How many rounds on the year?
God, if I exclude Kingsmill, I think I'm at like 6 full rounds. It's just atrocious.
So you changed jobs this year.
I did. I changed jobs this year, and it's been more of a transition than I expected. And then I also coach baseball. All 3 of my children I coach this year. So during the spring, I was at the baseball field 6 days a week, which is not the most conducive for playing rounds of golf. But I actually did get to the range quite a bit this year, which was enjoyable because I needed to work a few things out. And I think I did yesterday.
In the old job, Bryan, did you have more freedom to play as much as you wanted? Or did you play too much and that's why you had to find a new job?
No, it probably really, this isn't much different. I was hoping it would be more different because I'm fully remote now, but it's
Okay. So you can
hasn't
putt
quite worked out.
in the office
Yeah.
all day. Yeah.
Yeah, I got the X putt. I use that daily.
Putt. Nice.
Yes.
Very nice. All
But
right.
that's enough about me. We'll move on to Jason over here.
All right, yeah. So my name is Jason. I am the high handicap of the group. Currently at 16, lowest this year was 15.4, and I am kind of squarely stuck in that no man's land where I got a lot better in 2023, and then I didn't get worse, but I also didn't improve as much as I thought I maybe could this year. So I'm kind of stuck in no man's land that way. Also a father of two rambunctious boys that are 7 and 4. Full baseball mode, just like Bryan is with his kids as well. I live on a golf course, so it is kind of ironic that I am the worst golfer of the group, but you have that. And
I didn't know
I
that.
play.
You
Yep,
like
I live.
your
I live on a
backyard
course.
backs up to a golf course?
Yes.
Don't tell me you're
So
like
we don't
220
have.
yards out on the right side of the fairway somewhere.
No.
Right.
Well, no, left side. So we don't have direct course access. So we have woods in our backyard, and the hole we live behind is coincidentally called Alligator Alley. Not a friendly hole. I have lost many a golf ball. We don't have any alligators in Wisconsin, but if we did, they would be here. So
Makes
so
perfect sense.
we have course views. I can see 3 greens from our house. I have easy access to get on, which again is ironic that I am the worst golfer and I live the closest physically to a golf course. But like I said, my game is, it's not a bad spot. It just, I can go out and shoot a low 80 score, and I can just as easily go out into our club championship and shoot a 106 on a Saturday and embarrass myself. So, you live and you learn and you grow.
That's it too. You're also the youngest of us here, so you should be the worst.
Who's the oldest?
Well,
We've put in
Sure.
I mean, I'm
Sure.
46, so I'm going to guess me.
I'm 46.
I'm
All right.
only 2 years Jason's elder,
April.
so
I'm
yeah.
April.
June.
Okay, so,
So
then
you're older. Yeah. All right, Grandpa.
you can tell by this that just
Yeah.
no matter how close I shave it or how long I grow it, just stays. I've been watching those Just for Men commercials very closely, just thinking, just brush it in, and then
You brush it in and you walk out of the bathroom and you're good to go.
So
I can't grow a beard in my full-time job at Vandalay Industries, so I wouldn't know that.
Sure.
But yeah. So I suppose it's my turn. So I'm an 8 handicap. I was a 7 at the beginning of the season. Now I'm 8. It's going the wrong direction. Jason, you talked about you thought like this was the year. I thought like for the past 2 or 3 years, I'm convinced that this is the year I'm going to break par and bring the handicap down to a 3. Doesn't pan out. I have 5 kids, 3 little ones living with me. Extremely active little ones. So I'm doing the same thing, Bryan. I'm at baseball tournaments, football games, ballet. Not my own ballet. I'm very graceful, but my daughter's ballet. She gets it from dad. That scouts, you name it. So I get it. So my wife is like the one reason that I'm actually able to get on the course. My wife convinced me to actually join a country club this year. And my wife is all about making sure I get like max value for my dollar. So she's actually pushing me out the door to go play, which I don't know if she's supporting my hobby or just really tired of being around me after being married for so long. So
is she looking for another, like a husband on the side?
She might have one, buddy. I don't know.
Oh, okay. All right. That's fair.
maybe
My
that's why
wife does
he's
not like to
golfing
share
so much.
She doesn't like to share, but just in case,
Yeah.
I'd be like, honey, I'm being told I have to go join a country.
Yeah.
That's pretty.
No,
That's
my
pretty
wife
awesome.
is.
Holy cow.
Yeah, people use the term better half. My wife's like the better 3/4. Like it's pretty pathetic. At night, she's like looking at parents.com on like how to help your kids build self-esteem, and then she'll ask me, "What am I looking at?" And it's like Bryson DeChambeau's latest YouTube video. Like, yeah, she's very
That sounds
supportive.
familiar.
Yeah, she's very supportive. Yeah.
I would wager that's another thing we have in common is a pretty spectacular spouse. That's just my guess.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely.
I don't think
I think we're all
any
guilty of-
dad. Exactly. I don't think any dad that golfs can have a non-supportive spouse. It's too much time away otherwise. I think it's
Well, there is another extreme.
It's just sure.
There's the other extreme of like the
What's
dad
that?
who's out there and kind of just doesn't care, right? Like maybe the wife or the,
Yeah,
for
or the
sure.
kids have stuff going on, but they're hyper focused and obsessed with like, the club championship or bringing the handicap down. But those guys, I just don't have a lot of respect for it because it is, at the end of the day, it is just a game, right? I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm not anywhere close to dropping my full-time job and just go pursue the Corn Ferry or anything like that. So
Yeah.
That's the thing I tell myself all the time. Like I'll go out and I'll hit a bad shot and I'll start to get upset. And then I'm like, wait a minute. You are not good enough at this game to get mad over a bad shot.
Yeah,
And that's the
true.
beauty of, like, again, so both of my boys have clubs. There's mud on the course. They don't play every hole, but I'll hit a shot that I consider poor. And my 7-year-old is the ultimate hype man. And he's like, great shot down there, great shot. And I'm like, if you take the right view on it, we play this game for fun. I am not getting a check written to me on Sundays after a tournament. I go out to enjoy it. So why get mad?
Well, that's the difference between the Midwestern kindness in your children and
Right.
the Northeast in mine, because I'll go out golfing with my kids, and I remember we were on vacation up in Maine, and I had a 25-foot eagle putt in front of me, and my oldest son, was standing just at the edge of my ball. Miss it, miss it, miss it, miss it. He's
that happened to me once.
Wow.
Too. I
hyper
actually,
competitive.
I took Grant, my oldest, out for 9 holes, and I'm on like the 7th hole, and I'm shooting even, and I hit a drive into the trees a little bit, but I've got a window, right? I just got to keep it low, and I didn't keep it low, and I hit the tree flush, and like right away, like there goes the even par round. I turn around, my 9-year-old son is just cackling and laughing his ass off, like it was the funniest, and all I could do was laugh too. It's like, you know what, buddy, that is pretty damn funny. What am I getting so upset about?
Yeah. Well, and again, it's converse too. Like our children are all so very different because my 7-year-old, again, ultimate hype man. I don't hit a great shot. It's okay. My 4-year-old, who is in that stage of it's just brutal honesty, no matter what happens, and I'll yank a drive, like power hook, and he'll say, that one wasn't very good.
Yeah.
Like, no,
Yeah.
no, it was not.
When we get home, you're in trouble, Junior.
You need to edit their responses together. So it wasn't very good, but it was a great shot, Dad. Like,
Correct.
Yeah, there you go.
It's the ebb and flow of kids. Yeah. You could
I mean,
say,
calling
Hayes,
it
that your
Not very
handicap
good
going-
is still probably pretty good.
It's true.
your handicap going up is probably a reflection of what a great parent you are. You're sacrificing
exactly right.
one of the things you love for the other things that you love. So really, you're a hero.
Are we supposed to be pumping Hayes up in this episode? Is that what-
Absolutely.
That's exactly
Absolutely.
right.
I think just
Okay.
based on my handicap went from 7 to 8, I feel like he needs a little Reebok.
I didn't have that in the show notes.
But I have the same optimism. Like, so I'm in Ohio. I've got maybe 6 weeks left of solid golf, right? I still think I'm going to get it back to 7. I think I got a round tomorrow actually with Ben. Ben's another
Nice.
moderator on the forum. He'll be on later. But I'm going into the next off season with the same optimism that I'm going to bring the handicap right back down. I got all sorts of crazy off-season weight training and the speed training and cold plunge plans and all kinds of crap to become all superhuman by March or April when the season opens up. So I think it'll probably come out in a few more episodes. And you guys know some of this. I do some crazy stuff in the name of health and wellness. And honestly, I say health and wellness and I want to live forever. It's actually more about just hitting the ball as far as I possibly can, more than anything else.
225 yards into the woods.
Next year, I'm really going to get
That's
it
right.
out there. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Speaking of getting it out there, let's have a word from our sponsor. You know, I lead a busy life, and I got 1,000 different places to be. We've established that as dads. I got to tell you, my Tesla Cybertruck is there to make sure I get to all those places on time and safe. Nothing gives me more peace of mind than knowing I can go 0 to 60 in a ridiculously unnecessary 2.9 seconds when it's time to get my kids to practice. Or maybe run a quick errand to the grocery store for my wife and do it in a completely unnecessary bulletproof style. I love that I feel like I'm doing my part to protect the environment, my all-electric Patmobile and Robocop-inspired daily driver. Of course, as long as I'm willing to turn a blind eye to the Chinese Communist Party's ownership of the cobalt mines that made my transportation possible. Tesla Cybertruck, the official over-the-top vehicle of the Bogey Ball Society. Anyway, what were we saying?
Cheers.
That's thanks for our sponsors. We don't actually have sponsors yet, folks,
Thank you,
but
Tesla.
we're going to. Yeah, Tesla.
Not yet, but I
You
think
can imagine.
I think
we know
aim
you.
high.
We know you're listening too, sponsors. So just
Yeah.
feel free anytime you want to jump
That's
in.
right.
I can't really think
If,
of anyone I'd like
if I
to
know
sponsor us.
anything, yeah, if I know anything
But if we
about
can-
They
Elon,
already sponsor you.
Right.
it's that Elon
Yeah.
loves golf podcasts. So
Right,
he is
right.
probably
For sure.
subscriber number one.
I think he owns the internet by now, right? Like he's probably actually heard this already before we even
I
published.
believe legally
He might be
actually
listening right
heard
now.
our thoughts about planning the podcast, and he's already on board. So we're good.
And Brian, no, PXG doesn't sponsor me just yet. Well, actually, I shouldn't say that. We do have a bit of a sponsorship agreement in place. It's one of those unwritten verbal contracts where I pay them full retail price and they give me whatever I want. That's the deal
that's
right now. It's working out.
Those
Sounds
are,
like a great
those are
deal.
great deals.
Yeah.
Wow.
They're actually taking over, though. I'm down to 2 spots in the bag that are not PXG.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
what?
Well,
So
I mean,
what?
I'm
what are-
in the middle of
So-
testing that Allen putter, and it's legit.
Yeah.
It's
So
legit.
that putter's on order. So that's on its way. The ones that aren't PXG, I've got a Titleist GT2 driver and a GT2 3-wood. Everything else. Now I've got a Black Ops 7-wood on the way. It's going to kick out a TaylorMade. And I've got a PXG Allen putter on the way that's going to kick out an even roll. The irons are all PXG Gen 7 0311P. The wedges are Sugar Daddy 3s. I feel a little weird every time I say Sugar Daddy, but that's what they are, and they're really good wedges. The Sugar Daddies have been really good to me. They've taken care of me.
There you go.
Like
That's what
I feel
that's
like
what Sugar
that
Daddies are there for.
deserves just a little heart.
Please don't
for
do
From
that.
the
Sugar
hearts.
Daddies.
Okay, so for those of you who are just listening and not watching, apparently Brian has a setting where he can make hand gestures and things happen on his screen. So he just made a heart with his fingers, and little hearts came out of it. It's awful.
Oh,
Um,
I think we can all do that.
and on
buddy.
that note, definitely subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can see
Yep,
Brian
right,
do
right.
things like thumbs up.
Right.
I'm also quite handsome. I wanted to do that on cue. Sorry, Matt. Didn't
Yeah,
work
you know, I
this
should
None
time.
probably
fails.
address that. I mentioned
Yes,
that
it
like
doesn't work.
we're moderators on the My Golf Spy forum, but there's 9 of us, so people might be wondering why the 4 of us. And I think it's obvious we're the hot ones.
Yes.
No question
Obviously.
about
The
it.
first time in my life I've been included in the hot ones group, so I'm taking it. Wait, you're talking about chicken wings, right?
Right.
Yes.
Listen,
Okay.
Brian,
Then I'm in that
don't do
group for
it.
sure.
Brian was about to make a calf
Don't
joke.
do it. I wasn't even, but I can see that the Cavs
Yeah.
Cav challenge and Cavs adjacent.
Yes,
are
we
still on
didn't-
the
to
screen
come
here.
through. I'm surprised we made it this long without it even being
Well,
mentioned.
My calves are going to have
I
their
was
own
told
episode.
I was going to get kicked off the show if I brought it up.
Yeah. So for
He's
those of you
very
that don't know,
sensitive
there
about
is
his Cavs listeners.
Thank you. There's a long running Cavs joke that is. I met Hayes for the first time this past summer, and I to be perfectly honest, thought his calves looked normal. I didn't think, wow, those are challenged, and yet it is hilarious how often it gets played up. So now I'm on board.
I spend a lot of time in a weight room, and I suppose maybe they don't quite keep up with my upper body muscles. That doesn't mean they're small, but Brian, I thought Brian was a friend. I maybe showed a little bit of vulnerability in a particular moment, and Brian just charged right through the gate and has been tormenting for years ever since. So we'll eventually
I
have
am
an
from
episode
outside of
called
Boston.
Calves. Yeah.
Again, yeah, Brian is from Boston, so he doesn't have to be nice because everyone expects it anyways.
I don't sound like I'm directly from Boston, I can if I keep drinking the Sam Adams, that'll come out a little more. But yeah, it is in my blood haze. I apologize.
Yeah. So it's just wicked hard not to make those jokes.
Yeah.
Yeah. The minute the word pissa comes out of his mouth, you know he's had too many beers. If he's like, "Oh my God," you're like, "Oh boy, here we go." Yeah.
Wicked piss it, my guy.
So is that why you're not playing very much? You're too busy like mopping the floors at MIT and solving equations on the chalkboard.
I
best friend-
wish
Your
that would
best
be
friend's
sweet.
Ben Affleck.
You know, funny, quick little true story. Tom Brady, the GOAT, used to get golfing lessons at my uncle's driving range in Framingham. True story.
Do you say golfing lessons or golf lessons?
I don't know. I'll have to ask Matt that. He's our grammar police.
This is one of those things where you play baseball. Yeah, you play baseball, you don't play baseballing. Is this argument? We play golf, you don't play golfing. And yet I go
I'm just
golfing.
saying it didn't
I
sound
don't
right
go,
to me.
I've never heard
No,
it
it's-
called a
it's-
golfing lesson.
You go golfing. You
I'm
go
from
golf.
Boston.
Yeah, I don't know. We could have a etymology episode that people can just immediately skip. They can just subscribe to skip. Just
You don't want to listen to this episode.
Don't say
Not
etymology.
this one, though. This
I
one's
don't
good.
know what it means.
Yeah, can we not
yeah,
do the
I'll
big
give you the
words,
etymology
please?
of etymology, and then you'll understand. Yeah.
Thank you. Now we're talking.
All right. So I have a quick question. So, Bryan, you're about a 6. Hayes, you're about an 8. You said you were down to a 7. Bryan, what's the lowest you've had your handicap?
Oh, I think I was like a 5-4 earlier this year, but once again, it was like not. I don't feel like anything's legitimate this year. I feel like I've shot like either a really good score or a really bad score.
Have you broken par?
No,
shot par?
not for 18. Not for 18. Couple of 9 holes, I finished 1 or 2 under.
That's pretty
the
much
lowest-
always the
lowest on
definition of par,
18.
by the way.
No, but like not on an 18-hole round is what I'm like. An
Over 18
18-hole
holes
round,
in
my
your
best
life?
score.
If I picked the best 18 holes, I have broken par.
No,
What are you, a lawyer?
no, my best
What's happening?
18-hole round is a 75, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's always been the thing that I feel like has held me back. Like I never felt like I made as many birdies as I should. So like I could go, I think I've had like 14 pars in a round and just never like ticked over and gotten the few birdies to get that really low number.
That's interesting to hear because you fancy yourself to be a pretty good putter. You're not
I do.
rolling, yeah, you're not. Are you getting up and down a lot? You're not rolling in those 1 putts for birdies?
I'm working on that with the DF3. Well, before I
Okay.
started the Allen testing, the last round out, I had the DF3. I rolled in 4 birdie putts, and that tied my most birdies in a round.
Yeah. When I got to ask, so, and we'll talk about the lab and PXG thing at some point, but like when you got the Allen and you brought it into the same room as the lab, did like a lot of papers start flying and the wind picked up and the lights flickered and like,
No, they seemed to be okay with it. They weren't too scared.
Yeah.
He got a little
Okay.
nervous when I rolled 5 of the 6 right into the center of the cup with the lab, that he was going to have a challenging fit. But
and Matt, I know you're a huge lab fan. Are you at all curious about the Allen?
Yeah, absolutely. I think anything that challenges people to get better or encourages that in them, the more I play, the more I realize that it's such a confidence game, not in the con game kind of way, but in the, if you feel good over a shot, you'll probably hit it well. It's happening with driver, it's happened with wedges, it's happened with the putting, but I used to hate putting, and when I got the DF 2.1 like 3 years ago, and because I was so terrified of putting, I like read everything I could. I watched every video I could from lab about like how to improve your putting, how to, this is your stance, this is your thing. I didn't have a setup. I didn't have a thing I did every time, and knowing that the ball is going to go where I aim it has relieved a lot of my anxiety, because now I can focus more on the speed of the putt and the reading the green. I'm still not great at those things. My speed is okay. My green reading could definitely be better. But like Bryan, I have rounds where I have, 11 one putts, but they're all for par because the other areas of my game are, I'm missing green. I miss a lot of greens. My wedges have gotten pretty good around the green, sort of getting up and down. But yeah, it's so much a confident thing. So if you get somebody who's, let's say, not going to go to lab because they don't like the look of them, but then walks into a PXG and likes the shape of a mallet, suddenly there's this option that will make their game better. Like it just will. If you take away that thought process of like, I'm going to might push this or pull this or whatever, I think it's great. I got no problem.
But just for everyone else and let me make sure I'm understanding and articulating the argument the right way. So lab putters are lie angle balance. That's what the acronym is for. And the idea is the lie angle balance technology will keep the putter face square to the target during your stroke. And now PXG has come along and they're not calling it lie angle balance. They're calling it zero torque technology, but it's the same concept of their technology will keep the putter face square to the target, right? And so what you have now is lab and PXG kind of throwing stones, right? Shooting at each other a little bit about, which one's superior, what is one a knockoff of the other, or infringing on some technology a little bit. But Jason, you're rolling a Scotty still, right?
I am, yeah. I play a Scotty Super Select Newport 2.
He's living in the dark ages.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
are you
I am.
tempted?
I am. Yeah. So the last 2 years, the Scotty performs well. I thought it was a good putter before this putter, and I'd always been kind of intimidated by a blade putter. As a higher handicap player, everything you read, mallets are more forgiving, yada yada yada. Well, I found improved success with the Scotty. Tons of guys on the forum and play lab, and you see more of a presence now on the tour with more players adopting it. And it certainly is something that where I thought the Scotty was safe, that now is a space where next year lab has gotten me nobled, as we say in our group chats. So while I really like the Scotty, I certainly am beginning to learn as I get more pulled into the golf equipment stratosphere that no club is ever truly safe, because there are new and shiny things that come along every 6 to 10 months.
Yeah, Jason among the group is definitely between you and Ben, you're definitely attracted to shiny things on an almost daily basis.
The only difference I think between me and Ben is I don't go on every impulse to try new clubs every 2 weeks.
That's not fair. He's not here to defend himself right now.
He's not.
He's out at the golf store right now buying something new.
No, he's not at the golf store. He's probably he's getting in 50 of his 15,000 swings this year right now is what Ben is doing.
So
and that's why Ben is
not
the
here.
low handicap of the group.
Yes.
It's really true. So Ben is not here to defend himself, but Ben, nobody spends more time at the range or in the net than this guy. He, what did he just say? He hit 120 balls and the last 6 were his best because he was just warming up. Like he's a machine. And,
yes.
Yeah, he trades in, he gets new clubs. I mean, it's a nice problem to have. I had a set of Ping I2s for 12 years that I had gotten, 8th hand. I don't know how long they had been used or how many other people had used them, but I finally just changed my irons 2 years ago. 2 years ago, yeah. And I'm looking to change those next year though, because they're shiny new things.
Yeah, you're way overdue.
I think this leads into
that's just what happens. Yeah.
Another interesting question. What is everyone's longest tenured club in the bag, or a club that you have that you will never get rid of for nostalgia purpose, poor trade-in value, or otherwise?
Okay,
so I can go first.
I'll go first. No, I'll go first because this is the only one I can actually answer. So, longest tenured club, there's not a ton. I've had a pretty big bag turnover over the last 2 years, but I will never part with the Lab 2.1. I don't even game it right now. I got a DF3 earlier this year for my birthday, and it's spectacular, and it's just a little more inviting to look at.
It's real and it's
but
spectacular.
It's exactly. But I will never part with a 2.1. I will hang it on a wall. I'll put it in I don't know what I'll do with it, but it's, I got an incredible, like, I'll have that on another episode. I'll show you my head cover for it. It's like an alien UFO person being abducted by, it's fantastic. And, that was a birthday present, for me from my kids. So I can't ever imagine getting rid of that thing. It really changed my mind on how I putt and what part of my game is the best. Cause I used to think putting was my least favorite thing, and now it is my most favorite thing. So yeah, that one's easy for sure.
Jason, your question was in the bag, correct?
No, not necessarily. Just any club I
Okay.
mean, you could go longest tenured in the bag, or a club that you'll never get rid of. I mean, if we're being honest, none of us have very many long tenured spots in the bag at this point.
Yeah.
I would say it's a safe venture.
I was just saying, in the bag, I think I'm about 8 weeks is the longest tenure I've got. No, I'm serious.
But you said you had a three. You said you had a three. You have a driver and a 3-wood. Those aren't the longest tenured, right? I mean, wouldn't those be the longest tenured?
No, those are the new Titleist release.
Not if they're GTs, yeah.
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 Oh, right. Wow.
Hayes has
All right.
gone low key club ho this
I don't
year.
sing. I don't shout it from the rooftops when I have a new acquisition, but I'm playing pretty fast and loose with the old golf budget, buddy. Yeah. Oh crap!
So
my wife's
the-
going to
the-
listen to this.
Yeah.
Hayes is
It's
a great dad and a beautiful
This is,
person.
this is
That's
all
right.
for show,
Beautiful
honey.
person.
It's all for ratings.
Beautiful
It's
person.
clickbait. It's clickbait.
His calves
So
are
the
A1.
the longest tenured. Oh yeah, there we go. The longest tenured in my bag is the Cobra Speed Zone 5-wood that I have.
You're still playing.
All right.
Right?
I am
Nice.
from Cobra Connect back in 2020.
Okay.
Real quick, what's Cobra Connect?
Yeah, so Cobra Connect was a form test that we ran where myself and a few other competitors got a full bag of Cobra gear, and we spent the summer doing various different challenges, whether it be like woods and wedges, irons only, different sorts of challenges and games to play while we were testing the equipment and reviewing it as part of forum member testing. So it was a super awesome experience, and I know we loved having Cobra do that. So I won it. I got a championship sign back there, of course.
I'm a Cobra champ. I'm a Cobra champ as well, just to throw it out there. 2023.
Is that right?
Another Boston championship.
It is.
So Matt and I are the two
Wow.
losers on this. Got it.
But no, so that's still in the bag. I have a Ventus 8S shaft in it that it feels like a sledgehammer when I swing it, but it feels good. And I don't really see myself replacing it unless the yardage gap needs to change.
Do you know? Can I tell you a
It's from
quick story
2020.
about the 3-wood that I played?
It is, but
So you play a 5-wood with an 8S shaft. I played with a rented set this past week. I went on vacation and I got to play at a 6:45 tee time. It was amazing. It was like the sun was coming up. It was fantastic. And nothing like fall golf in New England. It was incredible. And I didn't want to bring
I'm
my
mad
bag.
I didn't get an invite, by the way.
It was down in New York. You're in Boston. That's way too far, obviously. So I, you're at the mercy of whatever they have. And this guy brings this bag over, and there's a set of M4 irons, which is fine. Game improvement irons, no problem. An M2 sand wedge, a Golden Bear 460cc driver, which I've never even heard. I mean, I know who the Golden Bear is, but I was like, what is this monster? It was awesome. It actually sounded good. It was very unforgiving, and managed to find the toe a lot for whatever reason. But the star of the show was this burner 3-wood, this TaylorMade burner 3-wood with
I had one of those back in the day.
an A flex. So it's an old man flex.
How old? Like the
45
bubble
gram
shaft
shaft.
even?
No, it wasn't. In
No,
fact, I
no,
had a
not that
video. I
old,
gotta
not that
find
old.
it. It wasn't the bubble shaft, but it
Okay,
was.
I watched your YouTube video. It was a burner super fast. It was a React shaft, I think.
Okay.
It was Reacts. Thank you.
Mhm,
I
mhm.
couldn't miss with it. I mean, it was a missile. It was going further than the driver. I don't know why I played the driver at all. I kept getting suckered into pulling that golden bear. I should have just been playing 3-wood. It was, I mean, I was 267 out, and I was like, oh, I'll just hit this 3-wood and poke it up. And it was 12 yards from the green. And I never hit anything over 250 from the deck. Like, it just kept happening. It was, I want it. Like, I want to go find one right now, because that combination of like the shaft weighed nothing and just apparently whipped right through. I mean, it was spectacular. So I can't imagine swinging an 8S, because that would feel terrible. Wow.
No, it feels really good. It's awesome. You should try it.
All right.
Feels so
All right.
good when I hit my 5-wood.
Exactly.
I'm a little uncomfortable, so maybe it's time we wrap this up.
Perfect. Is there anything else that our listeners should know? Why us for goofballs, and other than the fact that we're dads, other than the fact that we're golf obsessed, other than the fact that we're at the forum? Like, is there anything else about you individually that you think would make for compelling?
My mom says I'm really, really special. That's, I think, the number one reason. No, we're all going to be different characters here, right? I'm kind of the health and fitness gym nut. I've got like a wall full of training aids. I'm pulling out all the stops, trying to lower my score. The only thing I don't have going for me is any sort of discernible golf skill. So beyond that, I'm that guy. I'm doing all the training aids. I'm doing all that stuff, and I'm sure there's a lot of guys like me that are out there. So I'm gonna be in a position to, I think, share some insights on what works and doesn't work.
What's your
I mean, I think it
ultimate
comes
goal?
down
Is your
to-
ultimate goal to break par? Is your ultimate goal
Yeah.
to be a scratch?
Plus handicap.
You want to be a plus handicap? Okay.
I honestly, I don't think a goal is worth setting if you're not going to have a pretty lofty one, and I know how lofty that is. I don't think I'm going to have a hard time getting from my current handicap down to like 4 or 3, but I do fully appreciate how hard it is to go from like 3 to scratch.
Next
So
jump.
I know it's
Yeah.
going to take a while. Yeah. There's a sweet spot in life coming where my kids are going to decide that they don't like me very much because they're teenagers and I'm not cool to hang around with. And when that happens, go golfing, baby.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, yeah, I think it comes down to relatability. I mean, if you look at, like, charts will pop up on X or Instagram, you know, average handicaps across whatever U.S. states. Like, Wisconsin's average male handicap is 16. So I am the average Wisconsin everyday golfer. So yes, there's
Yeah,
tons
but
of
aren't you
golf
like
podcasts.
6'11"?
Not quite, but close.
You look
Yep.
6'11".
Yeah, well, yeah, next to Bryan, I would look like an NBA center. So I think that, you know, it brings a unique and relatable perspective. There's tons of golf podcasts, but a lot of these guys who are all fantastic, but they're low single digit to flirting with plus. And I can't relate to a low single digit golfer because I can't do what they do on a golf course. But I can relate to the guy who goes out and has a great round and shoots low 80s, and the next day goes out and shoots a 98 with 4 lost balls and no greens in regulation and not getting up and down to save a par putt. I mean, I think that for the listener who's looking for someone who can follow a similar journey, because I do plan on going on a relatively strong journey with an ultimate goal. Like Kay said, if it's not lofty, what's the point? I want to get to the single digits, and, you know, in 2023, first year I carried a handicap, I was a 30. So I made a big jump last year. Now I'm spinning my wheels. So what do I do to get lower? And I think that I can offer insight to guys that are in that same. Yeah, for sure that I've already started that, but I'll let you know how it goes. So that's where I'm at. I think that if you're stuck in that middle ground, like I am, and you don't know which way to go, I'm going to be trying some things starting in this off season, and maybe that can help you on your journey as well.
Bryan, you got a
My ultimate goal is, you know, to beat Hayes come 2026 when we go on our little group outing here. But no,
Never gonna
really,
happen,
I mean,
bro.
same situation for me. Less of the health freak. My diet's terrible. I don't get to the gym, but I want to be, that scratch golfer, that plus handicap as well, with just not enough time to do it. So, part of what my journey is going to be is how to make the most effective use of my golf practice time and figuring out the best ways to go about it and evaluating what I have in the bag, if that makes the most sense, and kind of going from there and just trying to find those weak spots and make them better.
I'm still trying to figure out why we should listen to you, though. Can you fill in the blank there?
Honestly, it's just by sheer force of will, because I talk so much that you don't have a choice. So that's really ultimately, you will just end up by default. You're like, he's talking again?
That's here to fill up the airtime.
It's really true. It's, yeah. Acting classes paid off, Mom. I mean, as for a goal, it's funny because 2 years ago I hadn't broken 90, and then I was like, I want to break 80 as my next goal, and I did it seemingly really fast. It wasn't, of course, it was a full year and a half, I think, after I broke 90. But I think so much of it was the pressure that I put on myself of like, every time I thought I was having a relatively okay round, I went mental and would shoot 81 or 82. And I started to lose it. And for me, I realized that the less pressure I put on myself, the better I perform. I played with a friend who hadn't played since he was 12. He had to, this is no joke, he aimed left in order to hit it straight, because everything he hit went dead right. He was shanking everything, and he just started aiming that way to hit it that way. And I shot a 77, and all of a sudden I was like, because it didn't matter. I was just trying to help him. I was like, hey, let's have fun, right? It's fun. This is fun. Yeah, I definitely, like, my goal for 2025 is legit, or like my next actual goal is to break par. I've been under par on 9, never been under par for 18. And then as far as ultimate goal, it's to join the Corn Fifth. Sorry, I can't even say that with a straight face. Also,
Can I be your caddy?
You 100%. You are almost big enough to carry the bag.
I was gonna say there might be a height requirement to tote one of those tour bags around, Brian.
Yeah,
Brian will fit in the bag.
Oh God! If I wear it like a backpack, like I have before,
You don't have to pay for an airline ticket for me if I can fit in the bag.
it's really true. It's really true. You just zip them right
We
in.
need a sponsorship from
See?
Shipsticks with you in the box, buddy.
See you in Albuquerque. Sorry,
Brian, I couldn't resist.
No, it's perfect. No,
I'm very tall. I don't know
I
what
just
you're saying.
I realized the other day I am closer to the Champions Tour than I am anything else. Like, like as far as like dream goals. And then when I watch the Champions Tour, I'm like, oh my God, those guys are incredible. So I have no dream of playing professionally. I just want to be able to break par on a regular basis. And it might not happen for 10 years. It might not ever happen. I don't know. But that's my goal, is to go out and realize that I could break par today. It's not crazy to think that. For me, it's all about off the tee, and it's all about the second shot. My around the green and my short game has gotten pretty okay. I make up a lot of strokes there. I just lose so many strokes on approach and off the tee. So, as for why you should listen to me, I just think we are so much the everyday golfer. We are the golfer that you get paired up with. We're friendly, we're funny, we've got kids, and we're grateful to be out on the course. And so, if that is something that you were interested in listening to, there's going to be a whole lot of it here.
It's well said. And we're going to talk, and we'll talk more about what we're doing to improve, especially as the off season. I mean, Jason's in Wisconsin. The off season's like starts tomorrow, right?
So tomorrow's low is 27, the high is 52.
Yeah,
it is.
What?
It is so wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh, buddy.
But it's short. It's a bit short lived, because by the weekend we're back in the high 60s to low 70s. But I do live in the state where at times of the year you experience all 4 seasons in one day. So It's not uncommon in the spring for it to snow in the morning and then be 73 degrees in the afternoon by 4 p.m.
That's unreal.
So while yeah, it's coming to a close. I did play last year until the Sunday before Thanksgiving, in 42-degree temperatures with 30-mile-an-hour winds. It was awful, but it was the last day the course is open, so you got to do it. And I fully intend on doing the same thing this year, and I will play as late as it is open.
Nice.
Can I tell you that the 6:45 tee time that I just had on Thursday, it was 58 degrees in the morning, and I complained bitterly about how cold it was. And I'm now
not surprised at all.
Yeah, you're from
I'm ashamed,
California.
but also I'm from California, so leave me alone.
Yeah, you're not used to it. You're not used to it. Yeah, we got our first email about frost delays over the weekend, where tee times already aren't available until 9 a.m., but they're going to get pushed back further. Driving range is closing at like 4:30 now. So, I have my own cart, so I may or may not take an extra bag of balls and leave it in my cart in case the range is closed. Sorry, Bob and Jason, I know I'm not supposed to, but, you guys got to do what he's got to do. So, yeah, it is winding down. But I have a garage and a mat and a net, so I will still be able to hit balls throughout the winter.
Yeah, I got to figure out the indoor hitting balls during the winter. I got to figure that out. I've got a net. I just don't know that I have a space anywhere to use it. There's a lot of crap in my garage. But let's talk about that in the next episode. We'll talk about.
We'll do that next time.
Off-season goals and plans.
We'll talk about where our games are at, where we need help, how we're going to use our off seasons to get better. We'll get to that in the next few episodes. I want to thank everybody for listening. If you want to get in touch with us, you can email us at bogeyballsociety@gmail.com. We are on Instagram at Bogey Ball Society. We're on X. Is it X, right? Not Twitter. X. Bogey Ball SOC. And then you can always go to the My Golf Spy forum. There's an entire section dedicated to Bogey Ball Society, and you can interact with us there. Thanks, everyone, for listening. We'll catch you in the next episode.
Thank you, guys.
Peace out.
All right, so that's a wrap on episode 1. I think we've laid out a solid case for why we ought to be included in your podcast rotation. I know I brought it. Matt, you did well. Jason, you did pretty well. Bryan, a little bit to be desired.
The thing with Bryan, if you are listening to this, get yourself a booster seat. You just put yourself up a little bit on camera, and it'll give your inner confidence a big boost.
Or maybe the yellow pages from like Atlanta rather than small little city like Dayton.
There you go.
To think about,
That's
Bryan.
really the key.
We'll see you next week.
All right. See you guys next week.